Hi, this is Laura. Well, as many of you know, each month I ask an on-the-ground question designed to get at what's happening out there with the child free. And this last month I asked a question that had to do with the child free in their later years. So often the child free are asked, who's going to be there for you when you're old if you don't have kids? So this last month I thought I'd ask just that. How did the child free envision their support system in their later years? First, thank you to all of you who wrote in. One child-free woman who wrote in, she has experience working in nursing homes, and she said that about 90% of the elderly in nursing homes have kids. And she asks, well, if kids are supposed to be there for their parents when they're old, why are there so many in nursing homes to begin with? Good question. I think that maybe in the past kids have been there for their parents more than they are today, because today it's just not a given. So let's take a look at those of us for sure who know our kids are going to be there for us when we're old. Surprisingly, a lot of you who wrote in have very specific visions and specific plans for when you're old, from having financial goals right now to already having an idea of what kind of senior kind of living situation you'd want to live in. And many of you talked about researching different types of senior communities, already looking at what kind of home you would like to live in and share with your dear friends is a situation that you'd want to create. And others are already researching some more innovative concepts like co-housing developments. But really, most of you didn't have, say, specific plans per se, but really could envision a support system or network when you're older, from younger family members like nieces and nephews to dear friends, to other younger people in your lives, and even your church communities. Still, others described not so much a support network, but really envisioning that their support was going to come from their spouse or partner. And then still others talked about how it would be they themselves who would be their support system. And then still others said, who knows? One can't predict the future, and they just don't think or worry about it really right now. Interestingly, though, a lot of people wrote in about the fact that once they couldn't care for themselves any longer, they really wouldn't want to be a burden on others, and were very clear that they would seek legal euthanasia. Interesting. Well, before we get to that point, what do you think research tells us about how having kids impacts one's well-being in their later years? Well, it says really is that they don't. But what do you think the top factors are that really contribute to well-being when we're old? One is having our spouse or our partner around, and two is financial stability. So having your spouse or partner there with you and having enough money are key. All right, enough talk about when we're old. on to the November on the ground question. I bet those of you who are child-free, when you told your friends and family that there were some that were more accepting of this than others. So in November, I'd like to ask the question, who in your life, to the child-free, who in your life has been least accepting and why? So click on the on-the-ground question to your right. Write as much as you'd like. I'll collect stories over the next month and report back. All right, see you then.